Probably the question I get asked the most is, what can a warrior actually expect by going to one of our retreats? Just to be able to reconnect again and reintegration, that's what we get and provide through a Warrior Wash Retreat. The Warrior Wash Retreat is 7 days long, and it's not an overload of information, but it does have specific tasks. 7 days can seem so long in our modern busy world, but think about it. You were gone so much longer than that. It takes time to establish trust. You're meeting many of the veterans for the very first time. You don't know whether their stories and their experiences are real. You don't know me. On the first day, we established the camp. And that just means the relationships. People find out where other people have served and what they've done, and where there's commonalities, what their home state is. There's other connections besides just the deployment. And then day 2, we do kind of a roll call. Because in modern warfare, thank God we can evacuate people very fast, but it also means that sometimes you go home and you wonder, is so-and-so still alive? And then also sometimes you feel bad because you did come home alive and others died. So we deal with completing the homecoming for everyone, and we deal with survivor's guilt. Then day 3 is leadership malpractice. And that's anyone who gets a seed of bitterness, be it if they're like in Vietnam vets, they're sometimes angry with the public for their homecoming. But other people are angry because of an actual officer or non-commissioned officer that seemed to play favorites. That can affect you 50 years later. You're still bitter at your leadership. Day 4 is sexual impurity. And it has to do with the fact that while you're there, not everything is combat. There's a lot of downtime. There's the internet, there's magazines, even now very mixed gender sorts of situations. And people come home with that in their relationship, and it impacts, they may have already been married, they may have already had a girlfriend at home. And that kind of debris from war is what day 4, we sort that out. Day 5 is when we deal with urban legends, and that's just a paraphrase for any kind of spiritual bad teaching. It can happen if you're on a small base and you have a very corrosive person who just is always spewing what their impression of God is, and you have to kind of get rid of that too. Day 6 is we thank the civilian leaderships, and so it's called sharing the spoils. And that involves thanking those who kept the home fires burning while we were away. And we actually take our campaign medals and we pin it on either a mayor or a fire chief or someone who represents our civil community that we return to. So day 7 is the Warrior Wash itself. We do a little teaching, again, to refresh people's memory on what has caused this inability to reconnect. So we do a little teaching with that, and it's all based on the Bible. And then we follow the rite that Moses did for his returning warriors. And when that ceremony is over, we celebrate the fact that that deployment is complete. Each day, in addition to the program about war issues, there is relaxation. Sometimes it's horse riding. Sometimes it is painting and pottery and archery and fishing. So for whatever type of person you are, there is something. Your soul will be touched in ways that I never planned, but that God purposed for that, and that He created this setting for. In Warrior Wash, it's veterans, healing veterans, and doing the work of God.